Huge group of Americans about to be microchipped to prevent one thing. Do you support this? What was once considered conspiracy talk within tinfoil hat communities about New World Order, has become a reality as science and technology go into overdrive devoid of morality. Despite being in a free nation, the lust for power over people is ever present as control creeps in cloaked once advertised as good intentions, but could soon rob citizens of their freedom. It started with a Wisconsin recently bringing microchipping to fruition, and now that the technology is available it could soon be implanted in a large group of Americans as a preventative measure for one sick reason. After our previous report that 3 Square Market, also known as 32M, based in Wisconsin had created microchips, they followed that product production up with showing the country how fun it is to be implanted with a tracking device. Casually leading Americans into dangerous waters, they held a chip party for their employees to make it seem like this complete intrusion of privacy was all fun and games. The scary thing is that this sales pitch worked when other leaders with ulterior motives who saw a side benefit of tracking a very specific group of some of the world's finest individuals. Humans aren't animals nor are they owned by anyone, yet one CEO sees it differently for the last group of people who should be treated this way. Although microchipping companies claim that these chips aren't in any way GPS-enabled and can't be used to read information, the CEO for the World Olympics Association says he wants to chip all athletes like dogs for one specific reason that goes against this claim of use. Proving that these chips can and will easily cross into a dangerous and intrusive territory, treading on citizens' right to privacy, is what the CEO says he'd like to force on these non-criminal/highly accomplished individuals. The Daily Mail reports. In the hopes of preventing doping in sports, athletes should be fitted with microchips like dogs, according to Mike Miller, CEO of the World Olympics Association. Mr. Miller claims that the controversial chips could be used to recognize banned substances and make sure sports stay clean. But not everyone is convinced by his plans, and some have raised security and privacy concerns, as the data generated could be used to track people. While preventing doping of any kind within competitive sports like the Olympics is certainly a concern, they're testing for that in place which is effective already without grossly encroaching on other aspects of athletes' lives not pertinent to the competition. The CEO introduced this idea at a Westminster Forum on Integrity in Sport this week using disturbing reasoning that showed a complete lack of respect and couth for these dedicated athletes. In introducing the radical idea, Miller stated, "Some people say we shouldn't do this to people. Well, we're a nation of dog lovers, we're prepared to chip our dogs and it doesn't seem to harm them, so why aren't we prepared to chip ourselves?" Sure, Miller. Let's start with you. Put your chip idea into practice and implant one in yourself and give the keys to your personal information to a stranger. By his logic, if he likes dogs, and microchipping is good for Fido, it should be good for him too. It's a ridiculous excuse for usurping someone's rights and undermining all that is moral and right. Others within the Olympic community disagree with Miller's extreme idea. Nicole Sabsted, CEO of UK Anti-Doping, said microchips would be an invasion of athletes' privacy, Mail Online reported. We welcome verified developments in technology which could assist the fight against doping. However, can we ever be sure that this type of thing could never be tampered with or even accurately monitor all substances and methods on the prohibited list? There is a balance to be struck between the right to privacy versus demonstrating that you are clean, Sabsted explained. This is not an isolated incident, it's the wave of the future that every freedom-loving human should be concerned about. Think about the implications of not just the government, but any business with deep pockets to hire a great hacker to find your location and all important information about you on your person. This is the kind of thing that's been a long time in the making and should be very frightening for all of us. Being against chipping athletes to check for doping is not the same as saying that athletes competing at this level shouldn't be checked for performance-enhancing drugs. They absolutely should, that is obvious, which is why there are systems in place which check for these things without the implications of making other kinds of personal information available to the wrong people. The world has already entered into dangerous territory when the chip went past the idea stage and went into production, and is now available to anyone and everyone for their individual purposes. From there, the idea surfaced of chipping children for their safety, appealing to a parent's worst nightmare of their child being taken to normalize this really bad idea. The progression of this oppression and privacy violation is clear and will only increase as the technology metastasizes into a total lack of freedom and potential government overreach. Thank you for watching this video. What do you think about this? Share this on Facebook and Twitter along with your comments.